What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Austin Got Figs action figure review video. Now, as you can see by the title of the video and by the packaging right here, today we are gonna be reviewing the WrestleMania 41 Elite Bianca Belair. And honestly, I cannot wait to get into this figure, man. I mean, obviously, you can see I did take it out of the package already, and because I didn't want to actually worry about taking the figure out of the packaging and all its accessories, because sometimes that honestly can be a hassle in my opinion, so I wanted to get that out of the way before I actually started making this video. But let's actually do like a deep dive of what's actually on the box. So obviously you can see, you've seen the front already with the Build-A-Figure Howard Finkel, and actually let me talk about that for a second. After I am done reviewing every figure from this set, I will do a separate review only reviewing the Howard Finkel. So yeah, let's jump into the rest of the packaging. So we turn it this way, we do just have a shot of Bianca Belair. As you can see, when I was taking the tape off, it did rip some of the packaging, but it doesn't really matter. You understand what Bianca looks like. We move on. We do see the WrestleMania 41 Vegas logo right there, and then you obviously have an Elite collection since this is an Elite figure. Moving on to the back of the packaging, we do have an image of Bianca Belair right there with the women's world title, or sorry, the Raw Women's Championship when actually it was the Raw Women's Championship. Again, it says Elite Collection right there with the WrestleMania 41 logo. Obviously, all the details right there, and then it has Bianca's name. Obviously, there's a description of Bianca right there. And then moving on down here, we have all the figures that are actually in the wave. Obviously, the Seth, the Hogan, the Brett, and the Bianca. Obviously, in this video, we're going to be reviewing the Bianca. I've already done a review on the Seth and the Brett, as you guys probably already know if you've watched those videos. If not, go back and watch those after this video. I honestly don't think I'm going to do a review on the Hulk Hogan, only because I did get this one like a month or so back, and the packaging's already gone, and honestly, I just don't think it's good if I review the Hulk Hogan. So I think I will leave the Hulk Hogan review out of this set. For specific reasons, which I'm not going to note those, honestly. We're just going to leave those personal. Now, obviously, right here, we do have the Howard Finkel Build-A-Figure once again. That's about it for the back of the packaging. Moving on to this side, you have Bianca's name and the WrestleMania 41 pretty much design, again with Elite Collection being right there. And then back to the front of the packaging, we've already seen that. But now let's jump into the actual accessories of the figure. Alrighty, now here are the actual accessories that do come with this Bianca Belair figure. Let's start with the fisted hands that we have right here. So you obviously do get one pair of fisted hands. So here's the first one. Obviously nothing too special, just a fisted hand. Let's go to the next one. Pretty much the same thing, but for the other hand, pretty cool there. But again, nothing too crazy. Now moving on to the other set of hands, we just have the pretty much, like open hands, like high five hands, whatever you want to call them. You got that one right there, and then you obviously have the other one, which is the same thing for both hands, obviously. And now moving on to the most actual exciting accessory she comes with is the Raw Women's Championship right here. This thing is sick, man. I always like when we do get titles for the figures because for whatever reason they just draw my attention a lot more, and I really truly do enjoy them. So let's actually do a deep review on this. So obviously you do have right there where you obviously clip on the belt to actually get it around her waist. And then you obviously have a white strap, of course, with this title because that's how it was made originally. And then you have obviously the Bianca Belair side plate right there. It is kind of small and probably really hard to see, but if you actually do have this belt, you will see it a lot more clearly. Moving on to the front of the belt, you obviously have the whole red action going on here. As you can see, mine is actually looks like it does have a lot of paint chip, which does suck, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah, I do like the front of this title here, obviously with the red and the gold. That is very sick, and obviously the WWE logo. That's very cool. Moving on to the other side, it's pretty much, again, you just have the side plate, the Bianca Belair side plate, obviously, and then obviously the white strap. And moving on to the other end, we obviously have where you clip this end onto this end to actually get it around her waist. And that pretty much wraps it up for her actual accessories. Nothing too special, but I do enjoy this belt for sure. I personally do enjoy that. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely enjoy that. But how about we jump into something that everybody's going to enjoy, which is the actual figure itself. Alright, now here we are with the actual Bianca Belair action figure. And man, do I have to say it, this thing looks absolutely amazing. I really do enjoy the look of this figure. But obviously we need to go step by step on what actually is included in the actual look of the figure. So let's start at the head. Now you do get these glasses. I did forget to mention that. Obviously you can take them off. They're not, obviously you don't got to keep them on there. And actually for the sake of just the figure review, I'm actually going to leave these off. I'll just put those off to the side. But yeah, here's the actual head scan of Bianca. Nothing, I don't think it's the best head scan that we might ever get for a Bianca figure, but it's not the worst. It's definitely not the worst, and it definitely does, it plays its role perfectly. I don't, no, not many complaints on my part, but they could have done definitely a little bit better. Moving on to the actual hair, we'll just start with the front here. We do have a little bits of hair hanging off on the sides to actually match Bianca's like in-ring look. And then obviously we have the most infamous part of Bianca, the whip, and we all know what that thing can do, man. That thing is deadly. But I do like that they definitely added that. That is very sick, man. I mean, how could you not add that? This is what makes Bianca Bianca, in my opinion. So yeah, I do enjoy that. Let me actually move this real quick to the front so you get a better look of it right there. It's obviously fairly long, as it should be, so that is very cool. And then there's the head scan again. But let's move on to the actual arms now. So as you can see with this arm, you do get the gold arm sleeve. Obviously, it's not removable because it's obviously sculpted on there like every other arm sleeve for a figure. You obviously do get the gold, and you do have the little kiss right there with the red stars, which is very cool in my opinion. I think all the colors do go well smoothly. Although they may not look like it on camera, if you actually see this figure in person, they do a lot better. You obviously have another red star right there. And moving to the side, it just continues with the actual gold kind of color scheme there, whatever you want to call that. Moving on to the other arm, it's literally just the same thing with the red stars, and then obviously the gold arm sleeve. And again, sculpted on, so you can't remove that. But again, those arm sleeves are very cool. I enjoy those. I think those are very sick to add to the figure. Moving on to the actual attire of the figure, you do get this little like necklace or like choker thing, whatever you want to call that. Just that goes with the actual attire itself. Again, that is irremovable. That's obviously has to stay on the figure. You obviously right here in the middle on like her chest area, you do get the Bianca Belair right there with the kiss, and then you obviously have a red star right there, which is very cool. I enjoy that they added that, and it blends in perfectly with the overall other colors of the figure. With that obviously black and red and gold right there, you do get these these gold kisses right here, of course. Moving on lower, you have another kiss right there, obviously with the black attire again. Goes very smoothly. I do like that they added like really like little like gold stripes kind of thing, like gold little lines, if you can see that right there. Not on the actual leg, but on the actual attire right there. I think that is very sick. They have it on this side, of course, too. We can move on to this side right there. You know, it continues down. Let's actually take a look at the back attire of the figure, the back side. Okay, it might not stand perfectly. That's one thing about this figure. For me personally, it does not stand very well, but I don't know. It could just be me. But here's the back of the attire, just black, and obviously the little gold little line right there, which goes well with obviously the overall attire. Let's move on to back to the front of the figure. Let's move on to obviously the lower half of the figure. So you do have these gold like stripes and lines on the actual like thighs and lower body of the figure, which is very cool. I think that adds a lot of detail to the figure. I enjoy that. Moving on to kind of the knee pads here, we do have, it obviously does say EST. Let's get that camera to focus. Come on, camera. There you go. I mean, you can kind of see it right there. There you go, right there. You know, it says EST, obviously, because that's Bianca is the EST, and obviously it's in gold, matching perfectly with that black again. And man, I love this color scheme on the figure and just the overall attire. There's the other knee pad, of course, says the same thing. We can turn it to the back to see the back of the knee pads. Obviously, nothing too special. I mean, just continues with the black design. But I do enjoy that they again put the black little like line and stripe kind of thing going on there on the actual knee pad itself. So that is very cool. Moving on to the actual like boots and shoes, I enjoy that it's only gold. I enjoy that. It goes well again with the overall figure. I don't think there's too much gold on this figure, and I think they actually even every color out perfectly. There's a side view of kind of the boots, if you will. And overall, the boots go well with the figure. The color scheme of them fits perfectly with everything that the figure has to offer, and really no complaints on the lower half of the figure on my end. The only really complaint I do have about the overall figure itself is, I mean, it's a women's figure. The women's figures are never really that great when it comes to just like the overall kind of like how they bend, how they move. I'm not gonna really get into that because I mean we've seen it millions of times with pretty much every women's figure. So nothing. I don't. That's one thing I do have to take credit off of for that only. But overall, man, the figure is very cool. I do enjoy the attire and the overall look of the figure. Obviously, like I said, it doesn't bend very well, but that comes with pretty much every women's figure. But like I said, man, overall, this is a great figure, and I think it is definitely worth the purchase because originally I actually did see this on Walmart, like online, for $45 for whatever reason. But then I went to Target, which is where I bought this figure, and they actually had this, and I got it for $22.99, man. So this is definitely, in my opinion, worth the purchase. I think this is a very cool figure to have on your display or your collection, and if you have the chance to get it, it is definitely worth the purchase. But I think that is definitely going to wrap up today's action figure review video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there's anything that I stated that you particularly disagree with, or let me know if there's something that I didn't cover very well. Maybe I should have. Let me know if I maybe should have went a little bit more in depth on the figure. But overall, man, let me know your overall thoughts of the figure in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified every time I post a video. And without further ado, I will catch you guys in the next one, and I appreciate y'all for watching.